house and everybody.
Thank you so much for joining us once again on the Daybreak Show, Rock City 101.9 FM, the voice of the people. This beautiful Tuesday morning, the 27th day in the month of October 2020, we are going to focus on putting out the fire and what could actually be done by everyone to put out the fire. Asha gave us that wonderful piece of music as we started the show with a fire on the mountain. Sometimes what usually starts with like a spark can actually become a huge conflagration that will be difficult to extinguish. And what exactly am I talking about? I'm talking about the carnage that greeted the Lekki incident, the outrage, the mob anger that actually played out in Lagos that led to the wanton destruction of lives and properties. From the Lekki incident where some of the structures there were also set ablaze, you also have people trooping out en masse to destroy properties, structures, either private or public structures, buildings that were, or business concerns that were seen to allegedly belong to Ashodi Bola Tinubu were touched. You have Oriental hotels that was also damaged. You have the premises of the Nation newspaper invaded. Vehicles were burnt, the structures, so some buildings were also burnt. You have TVC severely razed down. Cars of all the staff in the building were also razed down. The carnage at TVC would definitely worry you. That if you have some blood running in your veins. If you see some of other areas in Lagos that were severely burnt down due to the outrage that greeted what happened in Lekki and also elsewhere, the killings of some peaceful protesters and some youth in Lagos, definitely you will agree that we can only trace all this to the fact that a lot of misinformation actually fueled the crisis. Some have said that it is actually misinformation. Even Ashwani Bola Tinubu himself said it is misinformation when you say that he's the one that owns the Lekki Toll Gate or the Lekki Toll Plaza, that he doesn't earn a dime from that. Whether that is true or not is not an issue, but I think one of the misinformation we're talking about here is that many also believed that he ordered the shooting at Lekki. That cannot be denied. Some said he did it, and that is why there was some kind of mob anger and he became a target. Or those businesses that people believe he had interest in were targets. Governor Sanwo-Olu, who is also the governor or the chief security officer of the state, was also seen to have been culpable in the Lekki incident, and people went after his mother. His mother was quickly evacuated from her Surulere residence, if my memory doesn't fail me, and they razed now that building also. God made it possible for her to be evacuated. Imagine that that didn't happen. What could have happened to the mother? So what am I saying? People have, demonstrated their anger in a very, very destructive manner due to misinformation. The governor had to come out and say, hey, I cannot even order troops. That is above me. These were powers beyond me, and I cannot possibly be involved in the killing of peaceful protesters. That's also, that destruction can also be traced to misinformation. Governor Sanwo-Olu actually ordered it, or whether Ashwani Bola Tinubu ordered that shooting at Lekki Toll Plaza. You also have the many images and videos that also trended, especially on social media, as regards the killings or the shootings, as it were. Some, I saw a particular video of a soldier in an armor tank that was firing, severely firing machine gun, and people were putting, see how they were shooting people there. And I said, no, that's not it. That actually is a battlefront when some of the soldiers were fighting the Boko Haram elements. That also trended. We have images, include I personally, let me not deceive you, I also fell into the pit of these fake pictures. And some of the pictures that were bandied about as regards the victims of the Lekki shootings were accidents. I remember I saw one that was linked to an accident. Fine, the lady was at the protest, but on her way out of Lekki, she had an accident with two other men, and then the pictures were also said to have been the shooting at Lekki. So this fake news and misinformation that has characterized the social media space is becoming an issue, and that is why some have said that we might not be too far from ensuring that we manage that space, that we regulate that space, and that brings us to the issue of the social media bill, which many Nigerians have vehemently opposed, that this would not pass and this would not be given a life at all in Nigeria. That is an attempt by the government of the day to gag people and to gag the media. But at what point should everyone be held responsible for what they share, whether fake news or misinformation? Should there be some kind of punitive measures put in place to actually sanitize or sanctify the space, as it were? Well, people have said there are existing laws that could cater for that. There is nothing new that the social media is going to bring forward that is not in existing laws. That is the position of some lawyers. But it's always for and against when things like this have happened. Some have also said that there is a deliberate ploy to actually circulate fake news, fake pictures, fake videos, everywhere, to either discredit the account of what happened at Lekki Toll Plaza, or to make a case for regulation of the social media. That is another school of thought. I would believe that this is a deliberate attempt to actually push the agenda and make it something that everyone will start saying, oh, I think we need to regulate this, as it were. But that is in the realm of speculation. But that is what I want to look at this morning. Fake news and misinformation, especially on social media. What should be done to actually curtail the excesses, and what it could lead to? We've seen what it could lead to. Let us not also forget the invasion of the Abaru of Lagos Palace. That can also be linked to what happened at the Lekki Toll Plaza, because people have said Abaru of Lagos is an ally of Ashwajibola Tinubu, and his person is always protecting him, always pandering to his whims and caprices, always pandering to his interest over and above that of his subjects. So maybe that was why he was also attacked, as it were. So these are issues that must be really spelled out, must be looked into, so that we do not have a recurrence. We can prevent further loss of lives and properties. What must be condemned is the destruction of public, private structures and properties in Lagos by anyone. Any sane person must condemn that, because that is not what EndSARS protest was about. For days we saw Nigerian youth coming out en masse to seek an end of a unit that has been trailed by allegations of harassment, brutality, and extrajudicial killings. They also sought an end for police brutality in entirety. So, how did that degenerate into this huge fire that they're not trying to put out is something that must concern you and I. I am Tobi Joseph.
And I am Simiat Abaru. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Yes. Yes, Simiat. People have said that the media has a whole lot of responsibility to do this, and that is why you have the NBC issuing fines for some media organizations. Of course, that was expected because of the volume of fake news and misinformation that greeted what happened in Lagos. But at what point should we draw the line between enrichment or guiding the media or punishing media organizations that a lot has been flying around ever since that sanction by the NBC. Well, we won't go into all that this morning. We're going to focus on the social media space, which of course helped fuel this crisis and spread the fake news and misinformation. And we have in the studio a social media entrepreneur who, of course, is one of, I don't know whether he's one of the influencers that pushed the EndSARS protest, but of course he should know he's an authority when it comes to the social media. We have Yemi Ajala in the studio. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, where do we start from? Let's start this conversation from how the EndSARS protest degenerated into what we now have and trying to control the narrative and the outcome of the protest.
Okay, thank you very much. The EndSARS protest started out as an outburst of frustration by Nigerian youths. Now, the challenge is that when we say Nigerian youth, we always talk about them as if they are a monolithic bunch. But this particular outburst that started about 3 weeks ago was led mostly by young urban professionals. And they clearly could articulate what they wanted. These are our 5 demands. EndSARS may be the chance, but it is not the only goal. This and this and this is what we want. Of course, when you do something like that and you make it leaderless, a lot of people will come with their own agenda and propaganda. So you see at the sides, at the fringes of these protests, things like, oh, IGP must resign, this one and that one. Everybody would attach a lot of things to it. Then you also see people that do not like the protest, try to infiltrate the ranks and cast it in a bad light. Give it a name that it does not call it itself. So we had all this. And in my own opinion, I think it's these various agendas that came in with fake news that were unchallenged. In what you said for years, people have ascribed various businesses to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He neither denied it nor accepted those charges. He just looked on. And unfortunately, like the Yorubas will say, Tekere lati peka ruko, Tobada baton, ebolu mama agba. Those small, in quotes, fake news are kindling that will fuel the fire of any mob. So, part of the small lies and fake news that were going on in the name of EndSARS, I'll give you 3 examples. One was people spreading that if there is civilian disobedience in a country, that due to the United Nations Constitution, they will come and take over the government of that country in 30 days, if it goes on for 30 days. 1, the United Nations does not have any constitution. 2, the United Nations does not have any standing army. 3, there is no precedent anywhere in the world of that happening. The United Nations cannot, unless there is a genocide going on, interfere in the internal affairs of a
sovereign state.
Of a sovereign state. You understand? That fake news went unchallenged. It was retweeted by a lot of celebrities. That is one. Another one, if you are holding a Nigerian flag, the Nigerian soldier or the Nigerian police officer or any law enforcement will not hurt you. Fake news. If you are singing the national anthem and sitting down, no Nigerian law enforcement will hurt you. Fake news. Now, you see, all these three fake news just came into a blend that led to that Lekki incident on Tuesday, 2020. Because if you watch all the videos that are being shared about what happened, the ones that have been verified to be from the toll gates at that moment, you will find that when the soldiers, I'm not preempting any judicial inquiry, this is just what I have observed. You'll find that the soldiers were shooting up, and the people that were protesting were being told to sit down, sing the national anthem, wave the flag. And then the soldiers advanced. And when the soldiers advanced, they told them, go home, go home. I think the protesters wanted to push the protests to 30 days mark.
Okay. Because
of that fake news that they've heard. And they believed that nothing would happen to them. And the soldiers kept saying, moving towards me is a sign of aggression. Go back. Go home. But because they've been told, don't worry, you have the Nigerian flag, just stay there.
They didn't get a national,
you know. And then we had that chaos.
Now, that takes me to the next issue, because it's very touchy. A lot of people, tempers have really flared about the issue, because it's difficult not to be emotional about what happened. I saw that you chose your words carefully. You said the chaos happened. People have called it killings, people have called it shootings, people have called it massacre, people have even said genocide. Different names have been used, or adjectives have been used to characterize what happened at Lekki Toll Plaza. I checked, I took time. It's not as if we do not know what a massacre is, but I also, for the sake of trying to be sure what we are also saying, I also tried to check what exactly is a massacre. Alright? And I saw that according to the Webster Dictionary, a massacre is a killing of a number of people. That's exactly how Webster put it. Killing of a number of people, mostly peaceful protesters, or people, an unarmed group of people who are demanding a particular thing. So, in that context, those who have used massacre may be right. But the question is, because you use the word chaos, what can we then say happened at Lekki? Is it a chaos? Is it shooting at the peaceful protesters? Was there killing?
Well, let me start from one fact, that fake news is not a recent thing.
Yes.
I mean, if you read Yoruba history,
there is one that is still ravaging. That some are still saying that Mr. President is there.
Yes,
that's another fake news that is still on.
Yes.
And that's why the fact that they see Mr. President address the nation, move around, shake people. Some people will still tell you, Tobi is there. And I'm like, okay, so who was that? Is it my father?
They will say Jubril from Sudan.
Oh my God.
Now, I just need to point out that fake news is not a recent thing. It's been on for generations and ages and various eras. And even it is not even country specific. For instance, if you look at the Yoruba history, if you look at all the wars, all the civil wars that we fought up to, I think, 1920 Ogun Adubi War, that I think was the last major war in Yoruba land, you will find that most of those civil wars that we fought started out with fake news. A Jesha person has been killed in the market of an Ijebu person, and then war will start. If you look at the French Revolution, for instance, one of the leaders of the French Revolution, Robespierre, was guillotined because of fake news.
Yes.
In the last, President Obama suffered from fake news that he was Muslim,
and that he was not
born in the US. He was going to do Islamization of the world. Or then some people say that no, it is gay that is propagating, a lot of fake news. In the last election, Russia has been proven to wage a major disinformation and fake news war against the United States election. They made sure that, fake news about Hillary Clinton was propagated to enable the person that they wanted to be president. Cambridge Analytica was sanctioned for that. And even till now, I think BBC did an expose on how Ghanaians and Nigerians are being recruited by Russia to spread fake news in American political space. You understand? So, fake news is here with us. It is not a new thing. The challenge is that we are now in the information age, where everything depends on information. And what is fake news? Fake news basically is any untrue information presented as news. It often has the aim of damaging the reputation of a person or entity, or making money from advertising revenue. Now, the thing is, fake news thrive on confirmation bias. What people want to be true, when they see that news, they don't apply the four-way test to it. Is it true? Is it beneficial? They just take it hook, line, and sinker, especially in situations where emotions are high. So, for instance, on Tuesday night, we all saw the melee on social media. We were seeing the videos. And we're like, these people are making a lot of ruckus. They are shooting. It's clear. The question is, where were they shooting at? Were they using live rounds? Immediately, a lot of news went outside. Around 10 o'clock, we started hearing figures of 78 people dead.
From social media.
From social media, yes, social media accounts. One of them is a prominent Nigerian doctor that is based in the UK. Another one, we have various artists, various celebrities, all of them tweeting, Asiwaju Tinubu did this. And then people came out with a list of properties purportedly belonging to Asiwaju Tinubu. And they pasted it everywhere. And you must understand that a week before then, when thugs allegedly employed by some government force agents stormed Alausa to chase the protesters away, one of the pictures of the thugs was taken, and within 30 minutes they found his Facebook account. You understand? I posted it. Now, the people that posted, 78 people are dead. Oh, this is the picture of somebody that died there, which has been almost all of them have been proven to be lies and fake news. They may not have generated that fake news, but because of their confirmation bias, they wanted it to be true. They shared it. And because of their influence and because of their reach, a lot of people saw it, including people like the talk that they discovered about a week before. So those ones ran with it. And the ensuing chaos, but you must understand that even before the Lekki incident, there was already chaos in Lagos. About 2 or 3 police stations were already burnt down. About 10 policemen were already killed by people who did not share the same values and belief of non-violent protest with the people that started this particular tranche of End SARS. They had their own agenda. Because when you are saying End SARS, that was why Mr. President chose his words very well. He said, violence perpetrated in the name of End SARS. Because I think Mr. President knows that the people that are at the forefront of this End SARS protest are young urban professionals who are peaceful, non-violent.
who cannot be called thugs.
Yes. But some people that are not young urban professionals, who have they don't have anything against using violence, and who may have their own personal agenda, maybe hidden agenda. Maybe one Inspector Mufu arrested them 10 years ago, or was Sergeant Chinedu, that is in a particular police station, was the one that caught them with marijuana and sent them, to jail. So they have their own agenda. They will say, "Oh, we are doing this. Let us
time to launch out and seek revenge."
Seek revenge. Those kinds of unscrupulous elements, when they see people gathering and protesting, they don't mind sharing fake news to incite the people to attack police station.
All right. Talking about the pictures and videos that have been shared during this period, so whose responsibility is it to confirm or to challenge those pictures as it is being shared? And were they able to get that before it gets out of hand?
See, like I said, the major challenge really is confirmation bias. If you are agitated, the thing about social media is that it is supposed to be a like-based self-regulated space. Unlike traditional media, radio for instance, and TV that has NBC to regulate it, so there is the NBC code, set of things that you can and cannot do, set of journalistic ethics that you should follow. Social media is no man's land. It is the wild. It is the wild. Anything goes. But it should be self-regulated in the sense that the bulk of the people on social media should be able to see fake news for what it is, either from the source or from inaccurate reportage. Because sometimes fake news is not even blatant lies. It is, they are reporting what is happening, but they are either omitting information or adding information that is not from that. For instance, let me give you an example. Reno Omokri, former aide to the President Goodluck Jonathan, shared many videos that Tuesday and Wednesday, purportedly saying, "Oh, this is Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. He has been seen in France. They are attacking him." Whereas those videos are from a different country entirely at a different time. "Oh, President Obasanjo is running away from Nigeria. Put pressure on them, guys." Whereas it's an old video of him from years ago. All those are fake news. And what they do is they incite. What they do is that, especially in an emotionally charged scenario, it can turn a group of peaceful people into mobs. Another fake news that we have not even talked about right now is the one that, governors across Nigeria have been hiding palliatives from May. Let us go and take our palliatives. It is fake news. Yes, there is palliative on ground. All state governors have been given palliatives starting from late August. But it was not me. And it is staggered. And some just got the delivery of those palliatives in October. And so, you see people using that fake news of "it is me." Because that element of untruth in that information has already turned it into fake news.
So how?
And that was what incited people like, since May, we must go. And that has led to chaos across the country because of that fake news. Now, social media should self-regulate so that it will not come and be regulated. But unfortunately for us in Nigeria, this incidence of fake news, it has taken away the moral superiority of NSAS protests from government, over government rather. The moral superiority of, look, you sat down for years and seen your people brutalized and killed by a rogue unit in your police force and you did nothing. But due to this preponderance, this so much fake news, fake news now comes with fake videos too. There's fake videos and there's fake audio. Simiat, somebody can make a video of you saying things that you never said, and it will be believable. So technology is making the generation of fake news so much that to keep track, seems to now, by each individual person using social media, to keep track of, oh, this is probably fake news. This is probably fake news. What are the things what are the elements that make up fake news? For each individual to be able to do that, they simply lack that resources. To verify, to fact check. Each individual simply lacks that resources.
So where do we go?
That is why somebody, an average social media user and a media journalist can also fall victim to fake news, like Tobi mentioned earlier on.
So what are the things that we, social media users, people listening out there, what are the things that we should all look out for to confirm whether what we have is actually what happened, or to challenge, or maybe to also verify what we have as something that could be truth, or is the real thing that is happening at different points?
One is that we should ensure that we do not post when we are emotional. Okay. One of the things that I find very beneficial, especially when I'm online, is the 4-way test by the Rotary International, the charity organization. They have this 4-way test that they do. They ask, is it the truth? So when you see something, the first question you should ask yourself is it the truth? And one of the easiest ways of doing that is to find corroborating platforms, especially of traditional media. So for instance, if I see a news about the American election, I may wish it to be true, because I have my own bias. I have the person that I want to be to be the president of the United States. But I ask myself, is it the truth? So I go to VOA News website. I go to BBC. If I can't go to their website, I go to their social media handle. If I don't see it there, I'll pause. Is it fair to all concerned? That's the second test. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? So those are the ways by which social media can self-regulate. But unfortunately for us, with the amount of carnage, the Speaker of House of Representatives, Honorable Femi Gbadagbiamila, said that Lagos needs about ₦1 trillion to rebuild. With that amount of carnage, I fear that we've lost that moral superiority argument, and that the government would institute a commission to regulate social media.
I was about asking the role of government in this.
Well, the challenge we also have is that government itself is a generator and spreader of fake news.
For different reasons.
For different purposes. Let me give you an example of one during this NSAS protest. One of Nigeria's fast rising musician, Oxlade, was at the protest in Surulere one of those Mondays, and his manager was with him. A police officer was in the crowd, plain-clothed, when police fired into the crowd. And as fate would have it, he was the one that was caught by the bullets, and he died. The police arrested OJB, that's the name of the manager, dragged him on the floor into the station, and the police command, the police PRO, released a statement that OJB was the one that killed the policeman. That's fake news. If those incidents were not caught on video and already shared on social media, the police were ready to charge OJB for the murder of that policeman that was killed by his own colleagues. And this is not the first time that the Nigerian state, via the Nigerian police and other law enforcement agents, have been caught using fake news to persecute in certain instances, or to, let me give you another, or to make people go to jail for years for things that they did not do. Let me give you another instance. We still do not know the true thing that happens between the Nigerian army and the Shia in Kaduna because of the fake news. The military initially said that they killed, I think, 25 people. Later on, with evidences, I think they've admitted that they killed 347 people. So, the government itself generates a lot of fake news. So, if the government has been caught generating fake news so many times, what gives them the moral right to say they want to regulate social media space for fake news? Are they not just going to be clamping down on true news that counteracts or makes that proves that what they had shared or another arm of the government had shared was fake news? So that is the challenge that we find ourselves here. And before last week Tuesday, the Lekki incident, we had that moral superiority in that argument. We had that moral upper hand in that argument that look, the government is a fake news generator. Yes, there are some fake news, but we also self-regulate on social media space. But now, I don't know how we want to have that discussion again.
Okay. Let's take a listen to an interview the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, had with Becky Anderson of CNN when he was asked direct questions as regards what happened at Lekki. I think before now there have been some kind of what will I call it, vagueness as regards what truly happened. At first, I'm sure Kwemi would recall that there were this conversation that some pushed, that this narrative that some pushed, that those we saw in the video first were not soldiers. I think that was the first fake news that was pushed out.
It was stamped by the Nigerian Army.
Yeah, that they were not there. Now, when video surfaced, I think that has now changed to soldiers were there, but they did not shoot at the protesters. They shot in the air. Later on, some videos also surfaced of doctors treating some of the alleged victims of the Lekki protest. It has changed to it was injuries sustained during the stampede
while they were running away.
Now the army has said they were there to enforce curfew and to disperse the protesters. So, but let us listen to what Governor Babajide has to say.
And which branch of security services carried out the shooting?
Well, I mean, from the footage that we could see, because there are cameras that are at that facility. It seems to be that there will be men in military uniform, which will be Nigerian army or something.
You're saying that it was military officers who ordered peaceful protesters to be shot at Lekki?
Yeah, that's what the picture, yes. They were there. That's what the footage, that's what it shows.
Will that CCTV footage at the toll gate be part of the investigation that you have now called for?
It will be. Certainly it will be. It will be. And it's starting on Monday. They're going to be they're available for the judicial panel to review. It will be.
Do you commit to a full investigation of what happened on the ground?
Absolutely. I do.
And will people be held accountable?
They certainly would. I mean, we'll do everything to ensure that they are held accountable. We'll do everything.
It's a very simple question. Will they be held accountable?
Well, I mean, to the extent that I'm not the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, I mean, I'm the Governor of the state, right? The report will be out. We will channel the report to all the relevant authorities in the state to ensure that everyone that is found culpable.
Okay, I think that sorts it. You heard the voice of the governor of Lagos, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. I don't know what you could deduce from how he was answering the question, but I think I see a man that is very much disturbed, that is very much shaken, and I do not envy him right now because he seems to be torn between
the devil and the
BBC, trying to do the right thing, trying to pacify the youth and also not trying to ruffle the feathers.
Now, in all fairness to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, he has gone above and beyond in this whole NSAS symposium. And I can say categorically that on Wednesday morning, long before a lot of people woke up, he already released a statement that already indicted the Nigerian army. He never denied that soldiers were there.
Yeah.
So, but you see, that's how fake news work. Because yesterday, after this interview with Becky Anderson on CNN, on social media, people were saying, finally, Sanwo-Olu has admitted that soldiers were there. Since last week Wednesday. Since the very first time.
He has been consistent.
He has been consistent with his message. But the challenge is that people removed, it seems as if what they want to be true. Because he has always been saying that, yes. And he has suffered personally from this fake news. Because on Tuesday, cameras supposedly for identifying transactions and checking plate numbers of cars were removed because they were on the floor and they were being damaged. CCTV that is eye up was still there. But what trended on social media was on Tuesday afternoon before the incident, Sanwo-Olu has ordered that they should come and take away the CCTV. That precipitated the attack on his family house and his mother's house. I mean, this fake news even targeted certain organizations. For instance, they kept saying that a certain bank was providing support for the Nigerian military. And the bank came out and said, look, we were just doing random maintenance. But people had already targeted that bank. And that was what led to the looting of banks across the state. Like, all these banks, they had this age.
Wow.
So, fake news is insidious. And the smallest of it, years down the line, can become something that leads to the wanton destructions of life and property.
Now, from what the governor said, the judicial panel of inquiry, which I think it started work, I think it started yesterday.
It started yesterday.
Yes, it started work yesterday. Opremi, do you have confidence in the work of that panel and that Mr. Governor will have the political will to punish those who may be found culpable in the Lekki incident? Because it was asked specifically by Becky Anderson.
Yes. But you see, yes, and this is the challenge. Some of the fake news that is being generated and propagated are being propagated by people who are ignorant of government, governance, international politics, and its structure. Tuesday night as that thing was happening, and everybody was screaming about Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Sanwo-Olu. I kept telling people on social media that, look, there is only one person that is the commander-in-chief of armed forces, and that is President Buhari. The buck stops at his table. Those are the people that you should direct your questions to, because there is no governor in Nigeria that has the power to order a captain or a wing commander or a naval commander to stand down if there is an order from Abuja that he should do something. The best he can do is to put himself in the way or in the line that, see, if you shoot, you have to go through me. And because he has immunity, they would probably say they cannot shoot the governor. That is the best any governor can do. If you've been privy to maybe the meetings, the Security Council meeting of any state, you will find that the governors at best will be appealing to the GOC. It can appeal. It cannot command. It cannot order. That is why we've had a situation where governors and police commissioners have been at loggerheads. I mean, we had Governor Amici. He was prevented from entering the government house by the police. We had Governor Ndige being kidnapped by his own police. And it is that faulty constitution that we have. Our constitution is faulty. You cannot call the governor the chief security officer of a state. You cannot call him the chief security officer of the state, and he will not have the power to arrange the security architecture of the state. Governor Sanwo-Olu, no matter what the panel of inquiry finds, he cannot order the arrest of any soldier. He cannot order for the arrest of any policeman. He does have certain powers. From my own point of view, does he have the political will to do it? Yes. Does he have the political power to do it? No. So, for me, especially because of his conduct during this NSAS protest, you can see and sense the sincerity of purpose of Governor Sanwo-Olu. Can we say the same thing about General Buratai, who is the Chief of Army Staff? Because as it is, what did the panel of inquiry on the bombing of I wouldn't want to call them refugees because they are still in the country, but displaced people in Iran in 2017. There was a panel of inquiry. What was the submission? Who was punished? Who was sacked? Who went to jail? And so that is the challenge. There's a huge trust deficit between the people and the government. And the government is not helping matters because of its historical antecedents of burying certain things.
When do you think we would have closure as regards the loss of lives due to this NSAS protest, and when can the process for healing or reconciliation and healing, when can we have that? When do you think that closure, that healing, that reconciliation that we need as a people and as a nation will start?
It's simple. There's no peace without justice. Accountability is a step towards justice. And everybody in this malaise must accept their own share of the blame and do better. Let me give you instances. I'll start with social media. Certain celebrities have not apologized for the incitement that they caused that led to the carnage across the country. They are doubling down and refusing to say, I'm sorry that I used my platform to share this fake news that may have led to this destruction. I will do better. I am ready to help the security operatives in any possible way to ensure that we do not have a repeat, and we bring the people that are, because I mean, even before the Lekki incident, we saw policemen being killed on video. They were being murdered, slaughtered, but nobody wants accountability for that. The policemen have children, they have families. There should be accountability for that. And in those videos, government should look at the people that were perpetrating those things and go after them, get them, and prosecute them. On the flip side, we still do not have the names of the people that killed another police officer in Surulere, for instance, that dragged OJB and tried to frame him up. The people that beat the two ladies that were also dragged into the police station, they beat them up. One of them was having incontinence. OJB, as I'm talking to you, has neurological damage from that instance, and he cannot use his left hand very well. There must be accountability and justice for that. So the people that burnt police station, arrest them. The policemen that extrajudicially kill people, arrest them, prosecute all of them, and do not. Kolade Johnson, the policeman that killed Kolade Johnson in 2016, is still on trial. The speed of justice is too slow. We need that judicial reform now. If we are going to create a special tribunal to look at all these cases and have everybody that is arrested, prosecuted, let them have their sentence within 6 months to a year. Once there is justice, peace will come. So the path to peace and to this healing that you asked about is accountability and justice.
All right, so we're going to break for the national news at 10. After the national news, we will come back and continue with the discussion. And of course, we will welcome your contributions there. Thank you so much for staying tuned. And you're welcome once again to the Daybreak Show. Citizens Forum is the segment. And this is the final half of the show. This morning we're looking at fake news and misinformation, especially as it borders on the NSAS protest and the wanton destruction of lives and property that greeted that protest. We have in the studio Yemi Ajala, a social media entrepreneur. We welcome your contributions right now. We don't have much time for that, so we'll quickly take your calls. So we'll do justice to the tweet later. We have a lot to actually take. But when you call in, please turn out the volume on your radio set, tell us your full name, and go straight to your contribution. That's just 2 minutes, and we are going to be very strict with it this morning on the show.
08107860000 or 0701-132-7096. The Facebook fan page is Rock City FM 101.9. The Twitter handle is at Rock City FM. The short code 33120 or 35131 for 9 mobile subscribers. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Jodun Oguyemi. I'm speaking from Pajol Estate, Obantoko. The guest in the studio this morning, I have listened to him with rapt attention. And I want to give him a pat on the back for his analytical presentation. Of course, I'm not a fan of social media, and it is because as a media man myself, I know the intricacies of the profession and the do's and the don'ts. The area where I have to part ways with social media fans is very simple, and I want the guest in the studio today to give us the reason why it is so. For instance, in the newspaper, radio, and television, of course, anybody can make mistake, and if you make mistake, the affected person can come out and say it is not true, and as a way of assuaging the damage that has been done, the person can say, okay, carry the refaction by 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, and so on and so forth. So as it is for radio, television, so it is for the newspaper. But in Nigeria, for instance, with the advent of the modern media, the so-called modern media, a typical example I want to give is the issue of Minister Obi, which went viral in the video that the man was dead, in so and so forth. And eventually the man came out and told the whole world that he was still alive and he's still kicking. Up to today, the so-called media, the operators of the modern media have not come out to apologize or do something to assuage the damage that has been done to the man. I want him to answer this question. Why is the operators of the modern media not able to apologize for the error they have made? That is my question.
Thank you for your contribution. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Simiat.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tobi.
Good morning.
My name is Akin Bidoni from Camp Abeokuta. About it, social fake news are abound everywhere, especially in this part of the world where we are. But I think the politicians and those who are reading us have contributed a lot to it as the man today are alive. Simply because they will tell us one thing, is something that they'll be doing. And this has brought a lot of discord between we, the electorate, or we, the citizens, and those who are governing us, the politicians, both at the state level and at the federal level. It has even got to the stage that you are ready to believe anything you see. So far, it started with your perception of what you think is supposed to be going on. It is that bad that I'm going to that stage. How do we address this issue? Now, I want the man in the studio to please address it. Considering the fact that most of our politicians do not fulfill whatever they say, is the opposite that they will do. They have disappointed us. So how do we move forward from there? Because sort of what is fueling all this fake thing. Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Simiat, Abaru.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good morning.
My name is Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
I said one thing to myself. If the penny body, if you don't listen to this program, this point, that's 11.9. FM, what to the bottom of the that person has missed something what was serious of scenario. And that's when we started this morning. Years to that program, I called one of my mentor, Mr. Kada. I said, hey, if you take the wrong people and listen to what they are saying here, some of them you are said it here. It's been before me here. It's a critical environment. But what is coming out of your mind, you are not speaking like in Nigeria. In what you have said so far, you are not parochial. You are not partisan. You have said it all. So the year of this video last time, somebody said the man, the colonel who led that riot, who led the singer to that lady, he said they have identified him. Is that not fake news? And this one again, they are saying, in Parliament is saying, the soldier, the barracks where these people came from, they have known the barracks up to now, you are not doing that. Is that not fake news? I have to talk to Tobi Joseph and Simiat Abaru. I don't believe in anything I saw in social media. I don't even have Twitter. I don't even have all this. I don't know what I'm doing. It's so powerful and but not handled. Because if anything you have, if what you have said now is anything you have, which the most of all these women that we are seeing now, most of all these that was, this people that was initially initiated by our youth, that was adjusted by this. It can just speak me. All this attack, community attack, one thing is that was method on innocent, this innocent manner. It has just fake me. Now, my last question, sir, from Mr. Point. Am I still here, sir?
Yes, you're on.
Yes, am I still here, Mr. Point?
Yes, you are.
What is the way forward now? What is the punishment that will be method that was one missing Nigeria with this guy? So God speak to me. And I told somebody, I told those people, we are going to, those people are going to give us. There are no reason of what actually happened in Texas. A lot of people, they will give us, so be good by something. They are going to give us the living. Thank you, and God bless you. God bless your people. God bless your people.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you. Amen. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Oh, good morning, Mr.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Yemi. I believe what ADX was describing of fake news has to do with the professional culture of the mainstream media. The media are the ones who display neutrality in their professional conduct. But in the present crisis, some media presenters have shied away from this, taking sides openly, and by forcing alter the fifth generation of ideas. It has made most ideas we listen to now so jaundice and endless views. They even throw themselves into the fray. I believe as two players, for example, the regular radio stations, as the most popular news communication media, they have to disabuse minds and correct fake news and constantly reject substantiated claims and reports not backed by veritable facts and data. This will go a long way to educate the masses, and the masses will then begin to know how to sift good news from the bad ones anytime they are fed with it or come in contact with it. That's our contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your contribution. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Cynthia. Good morning, Tobi.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ajala.
Good morning, sir.
Tobi, why are you bringing the good ones at the end as someone told Jesus during the marriage ceremony? Why do you give the good wine at the end of the protest? Because these two people are people who are supposed to talk for Nigeria, not professors from Harvard who came to incite us and all that. But John, this analysis, Tobi, I'm bold to say that these are the Nigerians which are going to make this country better. My brother, I love you. Thank you very much. For what you have said, you didn't come to tell lies. You are not partisan. You are not religious. Tobi, there was a lot of misinformation going on from our callers inside this rock city last week. Someone said 77. And Simiat asked him, where did you get it from? I got it from channels. I hope that person will call in now and apologize to us, because it starts there. The healing starts there. There was retired military officers who will call in and start talking, start wondering, wait, this is really in the military? Are you not supposed to unite us instead of dividing us? And then you have said it very well. They said, I was nearly beaten up in Ibadan on Sunday when I was trolling a group of young men. This what you are doing is fake. They said, no, didn't you see the guns, sir? Then they got the use of Mukaram instead of Sevilla. I said, it's not true. Oh, sir, 2,000 people died. I saw it myself. I'm talking to Ibadan. These were university students who told me that. I said, it's not true. I hope people can listen to Rock City. I'm beginning to believe, I'm sorry to blow your sound, Tobi. This Rock City should go around so that people can hear authentic analysis, not all these John Deere things people are talking about and all over. Fake news will kill us. I don't know how we are going to solve it, sir. Because if you want to limit it, human rights, in China, we know you can't do this in China, you can't do it in Turkey. And we are beginning to even say, no, human rights, we want human rights. Until fake news kills us, because the way it is going, many people lost their lives because of this and because of fake news. And we cannot call them back. They are gone and gone forever. I personally believe that government should step up and then curtail some of the excesses of social media. And if the people who don't want, they can go anywhere. I think a time has come for us to find, no matter how imperfect that thing is, social media must be curbed. If not, we in Nigeria will not to problem. Ajala, thank you. God bless you. To some of your father.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for your take. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm tired of looking at my bed. Good morning, Tobi. God bless you. And God bless.
Amen. Thank you.
Ajala, God with you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm one of those that will always pray for this country. The painful reality, we are yet to see it. And I believe that it will not come up any longer. But who caused all this fire that we are talking about to rain now? It is the government. Let me tell you. Before then, that 75, I was the one that mentioned it. And I'm going to still continue to say it, that it was said. But put that one aside. There is no doubt that the government has caused what we are facing now. The problem of not using us at all. The problem of transparency. They are not bringing transparency to the table of the people any longer. People are no more, and they don't even have confidence in the leadership as of today. And these are the problems that has been facing us as a people in. And let me tell you, people that we call thugs and hoodlums, they traveled out. Most of them have their children inside the country, schooling abroad. Yet we don't see ourselves as leaders, as government, to have some kind of changes to be put in place for us here, other than to say we want to recycle ourselves as leaders. Leaders at 74, 76 in Abaru, leaders at 78, 79, 80, still wanting to go and return themselves in office. What is, in which particular planet can we have that? I wonder, even in Guinea, they are complaining of that person that came in now. You can imagine that. You see, all these stages of life that we are witnessing is quite embarrassing. That we will be to talk about accountability in this nation, where leaders were not ready to give account of their stewardship, and then they want to continue to put me as a indentured servant under their slavery. I wonder how long should we continue to say we should not be. After all, the issue of media, let me tell you, nobody can probably come up and say they want to shut anybody out of that field. We have enough laws to tackle issues that cause for a deformation of character. They have said something that is wrong. Put some charges against my name, and that is what we need. We don't need to shut anybody off the space so that we'll be able to talk. And when you talk, if they are fake news, reject it and allow for those people that wanted to give you good news.
All right.
To talk. That is what we want. Those people that have forced for answers, go and keep them. If no police officer or army are not among those people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Olakelani is my name, calling from Kuto, Abeokuta. You see, social media is gaining ground among some people because Nigerians like to listen to bombastic news. We should try to find out from the persons concerned in certain incidents before we conclude in our mind that this is the person involved, like journalists are doing to Tinubu and Sanwo-Olu to find out the facts from him. More so, we the people should make use of our intuition so as to know what to believe and not to believe. social media is causing a lot of problems for us. It is capable of destabilizing a nation and setting it on fire. If I had my opportunity, I would cause a blackout in the social media. But I would like you to answer a question. Just this morning I heard in the news, Falana, senior advocate of Nigeria, said the whereabouts of those soldiers that got involved in Lekki incident were drafted. That is, barracks on which they were drafted has been discovered. What do you say about it? Should we believe in its permission? Thank you.
All right, thank you. We pick 2 more calls, that we check our messages and allow our guest to respond to some of your questions. Hello, good morning.
Hello. Good morning, Simiat.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Joseph, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Mr. Ajala.
Good morning, sir.
Well done. God bless you.
Amen.
You are highly appreciated. This is Taiwa Yomodi from South Kona area, Ikeja town. By the way, I want to ask, what were the offenses of AIT, Arise Television, Channel Television? Because a lot of fake news and wrong reportage is going on there. No wonder why the federal government wants to sanction the media. I don't know what happened. Just was that last week, my sister's medical phoned me and told me there was a picture on there that they saw Tinubu in regalia at the airport running to board a plane to France. But later, when he heard that they were waiting for him, right, he diverted, he changed the journey. And a lot of, I don't know how they got that. And somebody told me it was another picture of another time and one time earlier that was posted to think that it was during the shooting at Lekki that made Tinubu to be running away. And this man came out and told us he was in Nigeria. He didn't travel out at all. No, we want to know. We want to know what happened at Lekki. We want to know. We want to know those soldiers who shot and killed our youth. Their blood is crying for vengeance. We must know them. They cannot be, what do you call them? Unknown soldiers again. We want to know them. We want to know who ordered them. You would agree with me that
10 seconds.
A previous day before that shooting, Buhari held a meeting, closed-door meeting with Buratai and Ronnie Shaki. And it was the second day that thing happened. What do we say about that?
All right, thank you for your contribution. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Tobi Johnson. I'm calling from Brandon. Yes, we actually need equal rights and justice. If we cannot get the equal right, let's have the justice. Let everybody be treated equally in this country. Now I want to ask your guest in the studio, can't these network providers at times block some of these information, verify it before releasing it on air? Is it not possible for them to do it? Is it possible for them also to identify those who send this fake news
so that they can release this information to the concerned authorities so that people can now be checkmated so as to stop spreading of fake news in this country, because this thing has caused a lot of harm to individuals and organizations in this country. Something must be done about it, especially the network providers. Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you. Ajala?
Yes.
Now to... Yeah.
Thank you very much to everybody I've called. Let me start from Biodun Yemi. He talked about not using social media, but the issue really is social media is the future. You cannot run away from it. Instead of ignoring it, I would rather say that it should come on social media and ensure that it teaches the people on social media the best practices, so that we will not have fake news preponderance. And unfortunately, the way social media work is that it is democratization of media. There is no, if somebody posts a fake news about Baba Ebenezer Obi, the person deletes it. There is nobody to hold responsible except that particular person, and the people that shared it without verifying. And so once the person, and it's so easy to create accounts and then delete them nowadays that one has to be circumspect. So for instance, if I see a particular tweet that is so inciting, one of the things that I do on Twitter is to check the date of creation of that account. So you find accounts that were created in October 2020. I will not believe that account, because I feel that somebody somewhere is trying to use that account to perpetrate some nefarious activity. You understand? If it was created maybe 2011, then I go and look at the antecedents of the tweets that are on that place before I can give it a level of veracity. Akin Bidunid said that politicians use fake news a lot, and that causes a lot of distrust. And I agree with him that that trust gap is a big issue, and it also contributes to the readily spreading of fake news. What can we do to make politicians accountable? Well, peaceful protest is one, and we've just had one. And of course, this kind of discussion is also another one. The only thing we can do really is to ensure that, look, like Beautiful Nubia said in that song, so we'll continue to speak with them, and then if they refuse to listen at the ballot, we punish them with our PVCs. Somebody called that what will be the solution to fake news, and it's simple. Governments should ensure that the environment for fake news to thrive is not created by them. It's as simple as that. I think Kolo Luabi said some media presenters also are taking side with one particular narrative or the other. If you look at Fox News in America, CNN in America, Daily Mail in the UK, these are news platforms that have agenda, and everybody knows. But even while having agenda, the question is, do you stick to the ethics of the profession?
Are you responsible?
Are you responsible? Do you take responsibility for what you propagate? Because all this, I think it was somebody else that said that, it was Biodun William that said, if a newspaper publishes something that they find out to be fake later, there's accountability, they take responsibility.
They apologize.
Exactly. So the only issue really is, yes, verify. But when you see that you've fallen victim to fake news, do you take responsibility for that? That, I think, is the real question. Thank you, Dr. Nkom, for your contribution. I've also been a target of people that want to hold on to their fake news. When you try to disabuse them, like, this thing is not true, they will come after you. But the thing is that, you said something about us killing fake news, and I agree with you. We have to kill fake news because it will kill people. We have to kill fake news before it kills people. There are some things called genocidal propaganda, and we've seen it happen to the Rohingya in Myanmar, because the genocide against them was fueled and was catalyzed by fake news. The 1994 Rwandan genocide is a product of fake news. Over 1 million people were killed over a 2.5-week period because of fake news. Fake news that was shared on radio for weeks on end, and then fake news about who caused the death of their president. That criticizes it. So we need to ensure that we do not allow genocidal propaganda, because it has also been seen to occur in Jos. Some of the flash violence that we see in Jos are actually activated via fake news shared on various platforms. So we need to ensure that genocidal propaganda does not take root. I agree with you that government creates the soil for fake news to germinate, especially by not being transparent. And they also, do their own fake news. For instance, on the night of Tuesday, the Nigerian Army verified Twitter handle kept posting that it is fake news that soldiers were at Lekki toll gate. Now, the Chief of Army Staff has agreed that yes, there were soldiers there. So, if they had not initially said there were no soldiers, the room for a lot of fake news, speculations and all these things will not have occurred. So, if government is transparent, the space for fake news will become reduced. And I agree with him also that we already have a lot of laws that can take care of a lot of fake news out there. Laws of defamation, incitement and all that. Maybe just a little tweak to bring about the phenomenon of Facebook. So for instance, some law courts will not admit a tweet as evidence. So we just need to say, okay, look, tweets can be admissible as evidence. I do not support a fake news bill because it is prone to abuse. We still do not trust the government enough not to abuse it, because we've seen government abuse a lot of things, including their own laws. Mr. Lakilani, you said people should be conscious of what they post. I agree with you. If you are emotionally excited, that is the time to actually be more conscious about what you post on social media. About what Barrister Falano SAN said about the origin of the soldiers. Well, we've seen one or two videos on social media which were actually posted before the Lekki incident about soldiers moving from a particular barrack that is quite close to the toll gate. Like all those things, I expect should be submitted to the Commission of Inquiry, and they will come out with a position. But to me, I still give it a 40% veracity value, because we are not sure. It could be an old video, but it's now given the label of, these are the soldiers that are leaving, or these are the soldiers that left. We don't know. Just like you said about the soldiers that were shooting Boko Haram elements, and then they brought it out on Tuesday night and said, this is Lekki toll gate, these are the soldiers shooting. Of course, so when it comes on social media like that, especially by people that you cannot hold responsible, by anonymous accounts, for instance, one has to be very, very careful. Mr. Taiwo Ayobody from Sharp Corner, you said, what is the offense of Arise and Channels? Well, I wouldn't know, but I know the NBC code says something about not basing your reports on social media posts alone. And we saw that some of them posted videos that they could not have verified from social media on their platform. So maybe that is why the government has moved against them. And I agree with you that we should ask that simple question: who ordered the soldiers to go there? If the government can answer those questions, the preponderance of fake news will reduce. Olushola Johnson, you said, can't network providers block some of these things before it goes viral? Well, I wouldn't speak for network providers. I know it is against democratic values for them to shut down the internet, which some countries have done in certain situations. But it disrupts a lot of things, including economic activities. I also know that in many places, the platforms themselves have been trying to police fake news. So, for instance, the President of the United States, President Donald Trump, is a known fake news generator and percolator. And platforms have always, Facebook, for instance, I think it was last week, deleted some of his posts for misinformation. Twitter flags it and says, look, they will label it as fake news, but because it is public record that the President of the United States said it, we will leave it up. So it's a dicey situation, and everybody is scrambling to it. Like I said, social media can't self-regulate itself. But if it doesn't, it will give way for governments to come. Even President Donald Trump has been trying to regulate social media in America, but because it is against their constitution, as it is against our constitution also in Nigeria, we have the freedom of free speech, but you don't have the freedom of incitement. So that is where the challenge comes in.
Okay.
All right, let's check some of the messages on Twitter handle. Dr. Ayedun Isaiah Shegun says, even though we need to blame the youth for the way the hoodlums hijacked the protest, who do we blame for this crisis rocking the whole nation? Are they not Nigerian leaders? They are the cause of this crisis. Olawi Jide says, I will not agree with the guests in the House about some governors getting palliatives in October without him being specific about the date and the state. Lagos State said it took delivery on September 22nd and its past was kept. And of course, most government publicize whatever they do. Dr. Ayedun Isaiah again says, when things are not in proper shape, expect insinuations that will lead to fake news. Nigerian leaders should always avoid negative actions that would prompt the bad eggs among Nigerians to be spreading fake news in our country. Lemon Plus says, are you saying that the mysterious camera found in Lekki by our own CIA detective Fashola is also not misinformation? If truly Tinubu was in Nigeria and all that happened and he didn't interfere, it shows his level of irresponsibility if he can change Oshomole saga in APC. We have another message here from Olawi Jide. Fake news generates mostly in the Nigerian state, basically because the government itself has been economical with the truth. Talking about the palliatives, I'm sure people around Buhari feed him fake news too. Obasanjo would have called out erring governors publicly. Noble says, fake news or no fake news, using military power on peaceful protesters is not justified anywhere in the world. Everyone involved in fake news, even the government, except their fake news is top-notch. God help Nigeria. Ismail Mayowa Fadi says, kudos to our guests in the studio. Some of these so-called celebrities and human rights activists should be held responsible for the Lekki incident for misinforming the protesters. How many celebrities or activists were there raising flags and singing national anthem when the soldiers came around? Shoyinka Ajibola Taiwo says, please, I want to know who is Buratai expected to protect. Is it good governance or Mr. President as an individual? Emperor says, yes, it is obvious that fake news are everywhere, which our government is also part of. Ayoade Shoronke says, good morning. Is a guest saying that the government didn't share fake news or for example, nobody died, nobody was shot, shooters are not army, we have no palliatives in stock, etc. Who will punish and penalize or fine those in government who shared fake news? Is it the leadership, not a reflection of the followership and vis-a-vis? Ismail says, again, some of the radio and TV presenters were part of Lekki incident for saying it on air that if one protester is shot, 50 more would rise to join the protest. I think Mr. Tobi knows that knows what I'm talking about. We should be very careful with our utterances on air. Dr. Ayedun Isaiah says, frustration can lead to immorality. Every individual has a major role to play to ensure peace, cooperation, harmony, and understanding among the people in the society. Delani Robert says, fake news has an arguably more invidious and dangerous purpose to stoke rivalries and hostilities between different ethnic nationalities, pitting the country's mainly Muslim north against the predominant Christian south. Akorede Kamil says, I'm interested in knowing what is the real news about the hoarded palliatives across the country. However, please don't tell me states just got those items in September or October. Badmos Damilare says, please let's be careful with our analysis here. Are you telling us that nobody got killed last week Tuesday? Or didn't you hear when Sanwo-Olu said nobody was killed? And again, is it the responsibility of the Nigerian army to go after peaceful protesters? Dolani Robert says, it is also important for government communication to be faster and more proactive. proactivity is an opportunity to establish the fact in any given controversy, as well as to build credibility and truthfulness. Delani Robert again, it is clear the strategy for dealing with fake news needs to be multi-pronged and to evolve around new technologies and new levels of public awareness, because elections are at the heart of democracy. Election assistance needs to play a central role. Awi Akinolu said the fake videos shared on social media compound the issue of the unrest in Nigeria. We abuse the use of social media in Nigeria. The president just needs to work on the deplorable state of the nation and put things right.
Okay.
Nigeria needs a good
We can't check all
wow.
the streets, Simiat. Let us quickly wrap up
I didn't even know.
with the submission of Yemi Ajala.
Okay, let me just quickly address certain things. That a lot of people are saying that the palliatives were with the government is made, and it is false. I have to say it again. It is false. A lot of people have come after me, like I told Dr. Tonkom, for saying this, but it is false. Lagos State government said
Are you saying it is false for all the states, or it is false for Lagos State that came out?
Hold on. Let me just say this. Because if you check the timeline of their social media accounts, you actually see it. On October 1, they posted that, September 20-something, we got the ceremonial handover of this.
That was Lagos State, right?
Hold on, yes, Lagos State. We got the ceremonial handover of this thing. October 3rd, they posted that, we just got the real goods in our place. Ogun State has also come out to give us the same timeline for something close, and other states have also done the same thing. COVID, the donors of this palliative that we are talking about, actually made a press statement that since late August, that was when they started staggered deployment. And the reason they started the staggered deployment was because they have a certain number of things that they wanted to share. So for each household, they said they targeted 1 million households. Each household will get this amount of semolina, this amount of noodles, this amount of spaghetti, and all that. But some of those things are in production, and they want everything to be together before they hand it over. So people should stop this holding on to the misinformation that has gone on about this palliative issue. Governor Sanwo-Olu never said, on Wednesday, the first statement he made around 7 a.m., he said, look, he had gone around mortuaries and hospitals, and he has found nobody died. Then, around 11 a.m., that same Wednesday, he came out and said, one person has died from injuries that they got there through a blunt force to the head, not bullets. So, Governor Sanwo-Olu never said, conclusively that nobody died. So, this, I think, people are selectively listening to news and picking only the things that will buttress what they want to believe. We should listen to the news and look at it objectively. That is my own submission. Let us self-regulate social media. Else, we will lose that moral superiority, and government will come and regulate it for us.
That's a beautiful note to actually end the discussion and conversation this morning. We appreciate every one of you for keeping faith with us and for joining in the discussion. We hope that we will continue to learn, we'll continue to relearn, and we'll continue to unlearn so that we can stop fake news and misinformation. We also have a whole lot of responsibility talking about the media. We will continue to try and ensure that whatever it is that is pushed out is foolproof. This morning we will not go to contest on the show without wishing one of us a happy birthday. Like happy birthday to you. Let me mess up. Happy birthday to
Amarachi Cherry.
God bless you. We pray that you continue to shine. You bring smiles and laughter to every one of us, and I think that is exactly what your life will continue to be. You will never know sorrow, you will never know pain, and you will never mourn. You will continue to love you, and you will continue to be a source of joy and happiness to everyone around you. Keep radiating that joy, keep being you. God will continue to bless you. Happy birthday, Amarachi.
Happy birthday, Amarachi.
All right, thank you so much, Ajala. We appreciate you. You did wonderfully well this morning. We appreciate your analysis.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I remain Tobi Joseph. Have a good day.
And I am Simiat Abaru.
Happy birthday to you. On this occasion of life.
One radio station, and that's the voice of the people. That station is Rock City FM 101.9.
Happy birthday to you. On this occasion of life. Happy birthday to you. Many happy returns. Congratulations. Happy birthday to you. Congratulations. Happy birthday to you. Congratulations. Happy birthday to you. Congratulations. Happy birthday to you.
And locked on to Rock City 101.9.